And I'm here on behalf of Hong Kong Watch to join once again with you to say a mega no to this mega embassy. It should not have required us to do this 7 times. And who knows, maybe it will require even more protests. But 7 times we have been clear that this mega embassy should not be in this location. And there are so many reasons why it should not be here. Firstly, this is a historic site next to the iconic Tower of London, right next to the Tower Bridge, in the heart of our city, and in a crucial, historic part of our cultural heritage. Secondly, this Royal Mint Court, I believe, according to the reports I've read, is above important cables between our 2 financial centres. Also, it is home to local residents who have their apartments in this building. And if this embassy goes ahead, they will become either evicted from their homes or they will be living in the People's Republic of China under the Chinese Communist Party, neither of which are fair or just for them. But perhaps the biggest reason why we must say no to this proposed embassy is that this will be, if it goes ahead, the largest Chinese embassy in Europe, and even more importantly, it will be a hub for espionage and for transnational repression. All of the communities that are represented in this protest, Hong Kongers, Tibetans, Uyghurs, Chinese dissidents, people I think from Taiwan, and from other countries, from Ukraine, from Myanmar and elsewhere, came to this country to flee repression and to be free and safe to express their views. But already under the existing Chinese embassy, many of you face transnational repression, many of you face threats. I myself have experienced some of that. And that will only increase if this embassy goes ahead in this building here. We've also in recent weeks seen just the tip of the iceberg of Chinese spying and the collapse of the spy case recently. Well, we can be sure that this building will be used as a spy base, and that is another reason why we should oppose it. Surely the fact that the Chinese authorities redacted some of their plans for this building is reason enough to say no. The rooms in their plans, if they had just called them a dining room or a snooker room or a ping pong table room, then maybe it would be a different matter. But they redacted those plans. And so, of course, we are suspicious, and we have every reason to be suspicious about what they're going to use those rooms that are redacted in the plans for. And that's a reason to say no. The British government has delayed its decision multiple times, and the next deadline for their decision is the 10th of December. And it's somewhat ironic that they chose that date, because the 10th of December is International Human Rights Day. So either the government is going to make a decision on International Human Rights Day to give a mega embassy to a regime that is committing genocide, that has torn up its promises under an international treaty to the people of Hong Kong, that is committing terrible atrocity crimes in Tibet, that is increasingly threatening Taiwan. And that seems a very strange thing to do at any time, but particularly on International Human Rights Day. Or, alternatively, if they have the courage to defend our values and defend our national security, they will make the right decision and decide on the 10th of December, International Human Rights Day, to say no to this mega embassy. And we must use our voices every day between now and the 10th of December to make sure the British government does make the right decision. So many voices have spoken out on this alongside us. We've heard from former intelligence chiefs, from senior officials in the security services, and from many other experienced and influential voices that this is not a good idea. The government needs to listen to them. The government needs to defend our national security and our values, and make sure that all of you who came to this country to flee the Chinese Communist Party can live here and speak freely, safely, and without fear. And lastly, the government needs to listen to the residents of Royal Mint Court, whose homes are in this building, and who must be given the final say in this matter. Of course, China can have an embassy. It should have an embassy. No one is saying China shouldn't have an embassy, but it should not be here in this building. It should not be used for espionage. It should not be used to threaten our national security, and it should not be used to challenge and undermine our freedoms. So every day between now and the 10th of December, let's shout loudly a mega no to this mega embassy. Gong Fu Hong Kong, Xidai Gatming, Gayao.
The former councillor in Hong Kong and a current Liberal Democrat borough councillor who passed a motion in the Rockingham Borough Council opposing the Chinese super embassy. Recently, the government has just failed to prosecute the suspect Chinese spy, but we know that more CCP spies are coming, and the super embassy will serve as their base, so we must stop it. And the CCP is threatening the United Kingdom, warning that if we try to stop them, there will be consequences. I need to tell the CCP, the British people will not bow to threat. We will rise against anyone who dare to threaten our country. Because we all know that if we knew today, we may find a moment of peace. But by the morning, the danger will have grown stronger and stronger and stronger. So we must rise and rise until we become lions. I will do whatever I can to stop the super embassy. And I hope the British people, we will side by side, hand in hand, to defend our dignity, our values, and our freedom. Yeah. And let the torch of liberty once again shine through the darkness of dictatorship. Thank you. Fight for freedom!
Stand with Hong Kong!
Fight for freedom!
Stand with Hong Kong!
No to Chinese super embassy!
No to China's super embassy!
Go for Hong Kong! Go for Hong Kong! Go for Hong Kong! 香港人！香港人！
加油！
多謝大家！
消滅中國，推步習近平。
Unless the UK government moves the deadline back again, this is likely to be the last demonstration before the Secretary of State makes a decision on the member embassy planning application at the Royal Mint. The current deadline is the 10th of December, so there's a maximum of 3.5 weeks to keep the pressure up on the government to ensure they reject the application. Last night, the Royal Mint Court Residents Association added its name to a letter being sent to the Prime Minister from the Tibetan community leader, Samarine Hussain. All opposition groups must keep the subject alive and feature in the press, social media, etc. The residents of the Royal Mint Court have lived with this shadow over their lives for 7.5 years. We have seen the original application rejected by the council, only for it to be resurrected in August last year. The application was again rejected in December 2023 by the councillors at Tower Hamlets, but at that time the new government had taken control of the process and a public inquiry was held. The opposition to the mega embassy were able to speak on day one of the inquiry.
Let me fix it. Okay, try it.
It's not loud enough, is it?
Continue.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Everybody hear you?
It's
better, yeah.
Mr. Bolton.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. The residents of the Royal Mint Court have lived with this shadow over their life for 7.5 years. We have seen the original application rejected by the council in 2022, only for it to be resurrected in August last year. The application was again rejected in December 2023 by the councillors at Tower Hamlets. But at that time, the new government had taken control of the process and a public inquiry was held. The opposition to the Mega Embassy were able to speak on day one of the inquiry, and members of the Hong Kongers organisation spoke movingly about their concerns. The Royal Mint Court were able to also speak on opening day about their safety, security and privacy and a threat to their homes because the rules governing inquiries. Those wanting the application rejected had to sit back and listen to 4 days of evidence that could have been severely tested had we had the opportunity to raise questions. The CCP have stated the opposition to the Mega Embassy slander them. They must have a different definition to the word to us. Otherwise, how can they ignore the Manchester incident where the Consulate General dragged a demonstrator onto consulate land and beat him? What do they consider putting bounties on people's heads when they don't like what they say? What about Tibet and the Uyghurs? What about the threat to Taiwan? And in the last few weeks there have been stories about CCP cutting water off to the British Embassy in Beijing, a crackdown on Christian ministers preaching in China, and even attempts to suppress Halloween. The list appears to be endless. This is not slander, that is the reality of what we face with the CCP. All this indicates that any concessions made by the CCP to the UK government cannot be relied upon. The embassy will always be protected by the Vienna Convention. From that point on, nothing can be done to ensure compliance. Just ask the Belfast councillors. If by the 10th of December the government permits the Mega Embassy, the Royal Mint Court residents need to push on and challenge it. The residents have already spent money raised via crowdfunder to receive legal opinions which indicate unlawful aspects to the planning application, that assurances given here have no legal standing, and there are questions over the predetermination of the application. These will be the starting position for a challenge, and there may well be others that may arise from the inspector's report. Thank you for your support so far. We're undertaking this not just for the residents, but for all groups that are threatened by the Mega Embassy. But the barrister at the inquiry, the legal opinions and any legal representation for a challenge requires money, and especially the last of these. So can I direct you to the GoFundMe page, Save Us from the Mega Embassy, and help us continue the fights. Say no to the Mega Embassy.
Say no to the Mega Embassy.
CCP lies, people die.
CCP lies, people die.
Free the Royal Mint.
Free the Royal Mint.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Free Tibet. Free Tibet. Free Hong Kong. Free Hong Kong. Free Taiwan. Free Taiwan. Free Pakistan. Free Pakistan. Free Southern Mongolia. Free Southern Mongolia. Say no to China's Mega Embassy. No to China's Mega Embassy. My name is Tashi, and I'm Tibetan, born in London. I'm the national coordinator of the Voluntary Tibet Advocacy Group. Like many of the Tibetans here today, I was born in exile. I have never seen my motherland. My grandpa left his homeland Tibet, making the treacherous journey across the Himalayas to India with his brother, who died on the way. Our story, the Tibetan people's story, didn't begin in 1950, but that's where I'll start today. When Mao's Red Army invaded Tibet, they brought fire, violence and death to our peaceful land of high peaks and snow. Since then, the Chinese Communist Party has tried to erase Tibetan identity. Thousands of monasteries and sacred items burnt to ash. Millions imprisoned, tortured and killed. 1 million Tibetan children separated from their parents and forced into colonial boarding schools where Tibetan language is prohibited, meaning they can't even speak their mother tongue with their mothers. Tibet is a land of high peaks and glaciers, rich in natural resources that are being pillaged by the CCP. In fact, 75% of China's lithium used in products like iPhones is stolen from Tibet. Our rivers that are Asia's lifeline are being dammed and disrupted, impacting the 1.3 billion that depend on them. Since 1950, we have seen similar colonial tactics repeated across China's neighboring countries and regions of Mongolia, Taiwan, East Turkestan, and Hong Kong. Today is a powerful day. We all came together in union to say we will not stand for a mega embassy in the UK. Not now, not ever. Tibet is the least free place in the world. It has ranked 0 out of 100 on the freedom score. Yet, I was born in the UK, a free country, where I am able to wear my flag that is banned in my country and give this speech today. The mega embassy would shatter my freedom, our freedom to speak against the human rights atrocities committed by the CCP. I, along with you all here, call on the Secretary of State for Housing, Steve Reed, to stop Royal Mint Court or any other building in the UK becoming a Chinese mega embassy. Steve Reed, MP, is this China? No! No! We cannot be disappeared. We will not be silenced. Say no to the China's mega embassy!
No to the China mega embassy!
Stand for human rights!
Stand for human rights!
Stand with Tibet!
Stand with Tibet!
Hugalo!
Hugalo!
No to China's mega embassy!
No to China mega embassy!
Thank you.
We demand the government reject this application and take action to safeguard the UK national security and everyone's freedom. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard.
Dishle. My name is Yangden, and today I speak on behalf of Students for Free Tibet, London. I also speak on behalf of millions of Tibetans, Uyghurs, Mongolians, Taiwanese, Hong Kongers, and Chinese people who can't speak up because doing so would put their life and the lives of their loved ones in danger. Behind me stands the Royal Mint Court, once a place where Britain's coins were made. Now it's the site of a proposal that threatens to make something very different. A fortress for authoritarian power in the heart of a parliamentary democracy. We are here because the Chinese government, a regime known for violating human rights abuses, in Tibet, in Hong Kong, in East Turkestan, in southern Mongolia, and in Taiwan, wants to build its largest embassy in Europe, right here on this ground. They call it diplomacy, but we know what it really is. It is an outpost of surveillance and intimidation planted in the middle of London. And so we ask, when does a sovereign nation turn into a surveilled nation? When do the free become watched? Because make no mistake, this isn't just about a building. It's about a pattern, a regime that expands its reach across borders, that silences critics abroad and sends fear into communities who thought they had escaped it. Let's be clear about what's at stake here. If built, this would be the largest diplomatic mission in all of Europe, expanding from their current 220 square meter site in Portland Place to a 5.5 acre fortress here at the Royal Mint Court. Beneath our feet lie the communication and fiber optic cables that link Canary Wharf and the City of London, the arteries of Britain's financial system. Billions of data packets flow through this ground every single day. And yet, the embassy's design includes a vast underground complex, raising serious concerns about access, surveillance, and security. A site with a record of hacking, censorship, and transnational repression could soon have a direct window into the heart of Britain's digital infrastructure. And the reach of this repression doesn't just stop at embassies or underground cables. It stretches into our universities, into the very places meant to nurture free thought and discovery. As a student myself, I am concerned. Just this month, Professor Laura Murphy, a human rights scholar at Sheffield Hallam University, revealed that the staff working at their office in China were harassed and threatened for 2 years by agents of the Chinese National Security Service. Her research exposed forced labor of Uyghur Muslims, and for that, she was silenced. Her work was pulled from publication after pressure from Beijing, and a defamation lawsuit designed to intimidate. Think about that. A professor here in the United Kingdom silenced in her own university, not by her peers, but by a foreign government. This is what transnational repression looks like when academic freedom becomes collateral damage, when British institutions begin to police themselves on behalf of the Chinese Communist Party. CCP-led transnational repression affects everyone and not just minorities. It affects everyone's freedom to speak and the right to live without fear. We must protect our homes, our families, and our communities from surveillance and repression. We demand that the UK government reject the Royal Minh Court proposal and review diplomatic privileges for states that engage in transnational repression. We call for stronger safeguards in our universities and public institutions to ensure that no foreign government can intimidate or silence people on British soil. And we call on every Londoner, every person who values freedom to stand watch, to speak out, and refuse to let authoritarian power build walls of fear in our city. If you are here today, your presence matters. Keep showing up. Write to your MP. Support Tibetan, Uyghur, and Hong Kong human rights groups. Keep this issue alive in the media, in Parliament, and in our communities. To everyone gathered here, thank you. To our Uyghur brothers and sisters, your courage reminds us what resilience looks like. To the people of Hong Kong, your fight for freedom echoes here in London. To all who dream of a free Tibet, your hope gives this movement a heartbeat. Together we remind the world that freedom is not negotiable and silence is not an option. May our unity today ring louder than fear and may it reach every corner where repression hides. Dishley, thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker will be Amy Steele, who is the General Secretary of the European Hong Kong Diaspora and Alliance.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Amy. I'm a Hong Konger based in Germany. Today I am speaking on behalf of the European Hong Kong Diaspora Alliance, a coalition of grassroots Hong Kong organizations from 8 countries and individuals in the UK and Ireland. Thank you very much for this opportunity to express our solidarity with you today. Many Hong Kongers in Europe are following the development of the mega embassy very closely, and we very much care about the outcome, because there are many parallels between the UK and European countries. Like you, we in Europe also face transnational repression. Like you, we are also infiltrated by the Chinese communist regime. Like the UK government, many European governments also do not stand up to China. So what happens here is a warning to what can happen to us. If the mega embassy becomes reality, it may also have a negative impact on Hong Kongers in continental Europe because it can serve as a repressive hub. That's why you are already helping us by fighting against the mega embassy here. To Hong Kongers, Tibetans, Uyghurs, Taiwanese, dissidents from China, Ukrainians, Tower Hamlet dissidents, everybody here, we stand with you, we are in the same fight with you. Thank you very much.
All together, we will win. All together, we will win.
All together, we will win.
All together, we will win.
All together, we will win.
Good evening, my friends. Today I would like to tell you a little story that I myself learned just a short while ago. It's a story of those who support the CCP and think that they will gain something long-term by helping the Chinese Communist Party. It is the story of the people who live around the Lake Baikal in Russia. You see, the CCP has long claimed their right over the Russian areas near China. And now they are industrializing this area, but not in the good way of the word. they are using the resource of the area, taking the coal, polluting it to no end, ruining the lives of the people, and making them foreigners in their own land. There was a documentary that was obviously banned in Russia, where the locals were asking a very simple question. Why is Russia fighting Ukraine as China is taking over Russia in the east? Which is a fair question to ask. They're fighting a nation that did nothing wrong to them as China is taking over, without a fight, mind you. There were protests, you see, protests against this sort of industrialization that in the detriment of the locals. You know what happened to the people who went there? The men were sent to the war against Ukraine, against their will. The women were forced to leave and threatened by force. Now this, my friends, this is an important message for everybody in this world, to see that there can be no alliances and no treaties with the CCP that they will respect and you will gain something with. You will gain nothing by allowing the CCP, by building their mega embassy here at the Royal Mint Court. You will lose everything by enabling the CCP to get a foothold here in central London, to get a castle here in central London, to be able to wage whatever operations they want to wage. You name it. Kidnappings, intelligence gathering, and all kinds of other crimes. I mentioned many times before in the past, my friends, about how North Korea uses their embassies all over the world to sell drugs, to gather intelligence, to spread misinformation. Now North Korea is, in the grand scheme of things, an insignificant regime, being kept alive by China and Russia. If the CCP is allowed this place to wage their operations from here, the damage they can do is far greater than any damage North Korea can do. And keep this in mind above all, my friends. The Russo-Ukrainian war is a test drive for the future invasion of Taiwan. The CCP has spoken many times about this. They have said many times that they will have their version of the one China policy. And if the United Kingdom does not stand in the way of the CCP, well, my friends, then the United Kingdom may be next on the list. We remember what happened to the people of Hong Kong when the CCP decided to take their rights away. We know what happens when the CCP gets it their way. And we know what has to be done to destroy the attack dog of the Chinese Communist Party, Russia, and to prevent the CCP from expanding any further, to liberate the people who they are oppressing right now. That should be the objective of every country in the free world. Not this idea of diplomacy, of trading with China, of letting China have their way. No, my friends. There needs to be a clear line, and we must be the ones to trace it. Stop the CCP!
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 Slava Ukraini! My friends, you remember last time when somebody says Slava Ukraini, we have to reply Heroyam Slava. Let's try that again. Slava Ukraini!
Heroyam Slava!
Heroyam Slava! And when I say Slava Ukraini, you say Heroyam Slava. Slava Ukraini! Yeah, thank you very much, my friends. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Thank you.
Marching, having this rally. But yesterday, before the rally, many groups of the dissent groups already emailed number 10 Downing Street, our dear Prime Minister, to send our urgent request to permanently halt this permission for the proposed China's mega embassy at the Royal Mint Court. And thanks Sandrine Passon for helping to draft the letter. We will also post the physical letter to number 10 Downing Street on Monday. And we want to also remind everyone here, please after the march, later on, write to the MP, write to your MP, write to the government. There are so many channels in this democratic society where we can voice our voices. And the letter has been posted on our social media, the anti-China mega embassies, Facebook and Instagram. But I think there is one particular passage I really want to share here on site with you. It's a history lesson. The lessons from 2008 when British when British actually shift its policy on Tibet in 2008. And then what happened? It has been widely seen as a concession to Beijing yield no lasting benefit to Britain. Instead, repression escalated in Tibet and in Xinjiang, and we know Hong Kong's freedom later on dismantled in the open breach of the Sino-British Joint Declaration as well. So basically, history demonstrates that perceived concessions would embolden rather than moderate CCP's behavior. Allowing this mega embassy to proceed would risk repeating a similar mistake, signaling UK's vulnerability to pressure and undermining Britain's credibility as a defender of human rights and international law. So basically, our request is to stop this mega embassy proposal now and ever. Stop the China's mega embassy!
Stop the China mega embassy!
Stop the China's mega embassy!
Stop the China mega embassy!